You know how divorce usually looks like in movies. Someone says, I want a divorce. The next day, the papers are ready. Someone signs them reluctantly, and the next thing is a new apartment, a fresh haircut, some supportive friends around the table drinking wine, and a brand new life out of nowhere. Real life is nothing like that. It's not a scene from a movie. It's a project, a long, complicated, exhausting project that nobody trained you to manage. Hey there, if you're new here, welcome to the New Me podcast. My name is Mashav and I'm your host. Today I want to talk you through what I call the 4 stages of divorce recovery: crisis, transition, recovery, and renewal. These stages are based on my own experience, the women that I work with, and what therapists and divorce experts see again and again in their clients. Divorce is not a single event. It's a process, emotionally similar to grief and major life transition. My goal in this episode is simple. I want you to recognize where you are, understand what's normal for this stage, and leave with a few practical moves you can make this week so you feel less overwhelmed and less alone. Here's the thing about divorce. You're not just ending a relationship. You're managing a full-on reconstruction project while your nervous system is in shock. You become the project manager of everything. Legal decisions and paperwork, housing, finances, co-parenting and new routines, and your own identity, your self-worth, and future plans. And you're doing it while your brain is flooded with stress hormones, sleep is way off, and your emotions are all over the place. Many researchers compare divorce to a grief process with different stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and some sort of acceptance. But I find that when you're actually in it, terms like denial or bargaining don't really help you decide on the more practical decisions day to day. That's why I prefer thinking in 4 practical stages that match the kinds of decisions and emotional tasks you face as the months go by. It's not rigid. You can move back and forth, take your time in one of the stages more than others, depending on your own circumstance, but it does give you a map. Before we dive into stage 1, I want to name something really important. There's actually a stage 0, and that's the time when you're still thinking about divorce, but nothing is official yet. Maybe you're replaying the same argument in your head, wondering, is it really that bad? Am I overreacting? What about the kids? What about the money? You might be Googling things and then deleting your search history, or talking in circles with a friend or without a friend. Stage 0 is its own kind of crisis. You're holding a huge decision in your hands, often alone, and you're torn between staying and leaving. Your nervous system is already on high alert, but you don't have the permission yet to ask for help openly or make any practical changes. In this episode, I'm focusing on the 4 stages that starts after separation, because that's when the divorce project really begins in a concrete way. But if you're in that, I don't know what to do, stage 0 still, I see you, and you're not crazy. You're just sitting with a very big choice to make. I am going to dedicate a full separate episode to stage 0, how to think about it, what questions to ask yourself, and how to get support without rushing yourself or ignoring the reality. So if that's where you are, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that episode. But for today, just know the stages I'm about to describe usually start from the moment of separation, when it actually happens and this decision is clear. So let's dive in. Stage 1 is crisis mode, roughly your first 3 months after separation. This is your survival stage. Your only job here is to stabilize and stay afloat. Your primary focus is very basic. Am I safe? Do I have a roof over my head? Do I have access to money? Do I have at least one person that I can lean on? You might be looking for a lawyer or legal help, gathering documents and paperwork, figuring out, do I move out? Do I stay? Where do the kids sleep? Emotionally, you're likely in a shock state. You might feel numb 1 minute and then sobbing the next. Concentration is hard. You might forget basic things. This is your nervous system doing crisis management. In this stage, you're not supposed to fix your entire future. You're supposed to stabilize your immediate environment, lower the chaos just a little bit, and get through one day at a time. If you're in stage 1 right now, here are 3 good enough moves you can make this week. Safety and housing check. Ask yourself, am I physically safe? Are my kids safe? And if the answer is no, or I'm not sure, your first call is to a trusted person or a local helpline before you do anything else. Support text. Send one message that says, I'm going through a rough time. Can we schedule a call or a coffee this week with someone that you trust? You don't have to explain everything yet. The goal of this call is to reach out for a human connection outside of yourself. If money and paperwork are the things that keep you up at night, I created something to help you with exactly that. It's called From Panic to Power. It's a simple financial checklist to walk you through the most important steps so that you don't have to hold everything in your head or figure out the order alone. You can grab it through the link in the show notes. Use it as your calm step-by-step guide to getting financially grounded in this first stage. Notice that I didn't say design your 5-year vision and start a new career. That belongs to a later stage. Right now, survival is success. We are getting to stage 2, which is the transition stage, usually somewhere around 4 to 8 months after separation. You're no longer in an immediate shock, but life still feels very fragile. You're starting to adjust to your new life structure, maybe experiment with new routines. You might be realizing, wow, this is really happening, but you still feel emotionally unbalanced. Some days you feel almost normal, then something triggers a song or an email or a text that you get or a legal letter, and it can send you right back into tears or anger. This is normal. You're still processing and adjusting. Common struggles in the transition stage are co-parenting logistics, like who has the kids and when, and how do we handle holidays, school stuff, bedtime, and also getting into new routines. Maybe you're solo parenting some of the days and totally alone on other days. You're also beginning to think about self-care and not just surviving. This stage is like learning to walk on a floor that's still moving. You're building a normal life while your old one hasn't really released its grip. So in stage 2, your focus is about structure and support. So some examples of things that you can do to build that. You can create a bare minimum routine, which is just 3 routines that act as anchors for your weekdays. For example, you can decide on one meal that you sit down for. Just keep it simple. Your brain needs some predictability to calm down. Also, co-parenting, think of it as a business project. Think about communication like a professional project, how to create clear, brief, child-focused communication. And if needed, use some written channels and shared calendars so that everything is documented. Another thing that you can do is find one self-kindness habit, like one worth caring for. It can be a daily walk or voice journaling, which is something that I really like doing, or simply your bedtime routine. You're still healing here. You don't have to move on yet, and you don't need to do that in isolation. If you're in this wobbly in-between stage and you just want regular, gentle support, I'd love to invite you to New Me Weekly. It's my weekly newsletter for women who are starting over after divorce. Every week, I send you a short reel email with tools, stories, and reminders that you're not alone and that this messing middle is part of the process. I'm gonna add the sign-up link on the show notes. So stage 3 is what I call recovery stage. Roughly from 9 months to about a year, maybe a little bit later after separation, but this is very individual. By now, one or two things is usually happening. Either your divorce is legally done and you're stepping into your next chapter, or you're still in mediation or court proceedings, but emotionally, you're not in full survival anymore. The biggest shift here is in your mind. Your brain starts to clear. Your thinking brain comes back online after months of lizard brain crisis response. You're not just reacting, you're rebuilding. This is where big questions show up, like, what do I actually want my life to look like? Who am I when I'm not a wife or his partner? And how do I support myself financially, maybe physically, mentally? Do I need to upskill or change my career? Legally, you might be asked to make big decisions about parenting schedules, holidays, money, or property. Each answer is not just a legal term, it's designing your future. Many people also circle in and out of grief still in that stage. Grief, anger, and sadness here as you understand the full impact of the loss. The central task of this stage is self-worth and future planning. You're learning to see yourself not as the person who got divorced, but as a whole human with desires, talents, and new possibilities. This is the stage where questions like, who am I now and what do I actually want, get louder. Value work and identity work are incredibly powerful here. If that's you, I have 2 tools that can support you in this stage. First, Build Your Compass. It's a free tool to help you find your 3 to 5 core values for this new chapter. Think of it as your internal GPS. Once you know your values, decisions about work, co-parenting, dating, even where you live start to make more sense. This is also a powerful time to seek counseling, coaching, or group programs. Structured support helps you turn all these insights into concrete actions, whether that's financial planning, career shifts, or deeper emotional healing. Now we reach to stage 4, the renewal stage. For many people, this is somewhere around a year to 2 years after separation, but honestly, it can extend to 3 years and beyond. I'm about 4 years past my own separation, and I still feel like I'm in the renewal process. It's not a switch flip, it's a transformation, and it can take a while. In this stage, it's no longer about just surviving or patching things up. It's about thriving and stepping into your power. What this can look like, you start to feel more like yourself or even like a new version of yourself. You may experiment with dating again or decide to stay single intentionally. You redefine your life goals, where you want to live, how you want to parent, how do you want to earn and spend money, what kind of people you want around you. Challenges here are more growth pains than crisis. Learning to trust yourself again, setting healthier boundaries than you had in your marriage, trying new experiences, maybe move to a new city, find a new job, find new friendships, or solo travel. Many therapists describe this kind of stage as acceptance and a new level of functioning. Not by forgetting the past, but integrating it and building a life that feels aligned with who you are. Another thing you can do in this stage is upgrade your connections, audit your relationships, figure out who leaves you feeling drained and who leaves you feeling supported, and start to shift your energy towards the people and communities that nourish you. Another thing you can do in this stage is brave experimenting. Choose one small experiment, like join a new group, take a class, travel somewhere alone, start a side project. Renewal needs real-life experiments, not just journal entries. This stage is hard work and full of growth, but it's also exciting. You start to realize my life didn't end with my divorce. I get to write a new chapter. If you're listening and thinking, I'm actually ready to build something exciting, this is your stage. You're in renewal. Make sure you're also on the New Me Weekly so you have ongoing encouragement, tools, and ideas as you experiment and expand. All the links are in the show notes so you can pick the support that matches this stage that you're in. When I went through my own divorce, I remember thinking, I knew this would be hard. I did not know it would be this hard. Even with supportive family, friends, a therapist, and Facebook groups, I felt like I was managing a giant, messy project totally alone. And that's the part that often breaks us. Not just the pain, but the mental load. 100 decisions a week, legal language you don't understand, money worries, kids' emotions, your own grief, and just exhaustion. Decision fatigue is real. Your brain simply does not have infinite capacity. You shouldn't have to figure out everything in the right order all by yourself, especially when you're already hurting. So as you're listening right now, I want you to take a breath and ask yourself, which stage sounds most like where I am today? Is it crisis, transition, recovery, or renewal? There's no better answer. There's no gold star for being further ahead. You are exactly where you are supposed to be for today. I'd love to hear from you. Which stage are you in? And what is one thing you wish you had during this journey to make this stage easier? If you're in crisis, start with From Panic to Power, the financial checklist that help you stabilize the money side so you can breathe. If you're in transition, subscribe to New Me Weekly so you have a steady drip of support while you're figuring out your new normal. And if you're in recovery, begin with Build Your Compass to clarify your values. And if you're in renewal, if you're ready to go deeper and actually design your next chapter, step by step, there's the 15 days self-guided roadmap where I walk you through your desires, different possible paths, and build a tangible roadmap for the life you want to build. One small brave move at a time will get you to a life that's not just fine, but genuinely, beautifully yours. Thank you for listening. I'm Ashav, and this was the New Me podcast. Join me next time, and until then, peace out.